Hi there, it's Gigi with Kludgy Mom, and today we are going to talk about Twitter Counter. Twitter Counter is a great stats tool that allows you to track what's going on with your Twitter account, how many followers you have, how many people you're following, and some other really cool data that you can't get from within Twitter. So I'm going to show you quickly today some of the things that you can do with Twitter Counter and why you would be interested in using it. So you're going to go to twittercounter.com and you are going to need to create an account and authorize that account's application to access Twitter like you do with every other application that integrates with Twitter. No big deal. And when you log in, after the application has had time to grab all of your data, you will be able to view your Twitter statistics. Here is my current chart of Twitter statistics, and I'm going to clear this out for just a second so that you can see my personal stats here for just a second. Okay. So what this is going to display is your avatar, your profile. You can like this and tweet this and such, and then it's going to give you a graph of your followers. This tracks on an hourly, weekly, monthly basis and so on. Some of these are only available for premium subscriptions, so I'm just going to show you the free service because that's all I use. So this is my weekly Twitter growth since July 8th. And as you can see, I started right around 3,755 followers, and today, which is July 15th, I have 3,800 followers. When you click on each of these data points for a particular day, it will show you how many additional Twitter followers you gained that day. So on average, I can look and say I gain usually somewhere between 4 and 10 followers every day. Now if you look at July 9th here, it says plus 33. 33 people followed me on July 9th. That is probably because I was at Evo conference and doing a lot of tweeting, and so I was gaining a lot of followers due to being at the conference. Some of the other cool things that you can do with the followers graph is you can look down here and you can compare yourself with 2 other tweets and plot their following against your following. So maybe you're just really curious how somebody else's following is growing, or maybe you're super competitive with somebody. So let me just put in here a couple of my good bloggy friends. I'm going to put Mommy of a Monster, Natalie, and Cheryl at Mommy Pants, and I'm going to hit compare. And this is going to show me here how their Twitter following has been growing over the last week or so. So you can see Mommy of a Monster has a huge Twitter following. She has 5,000 fans as of July 5th, and it's gone up to almost 5,200 fans. 5,200 fans by July 11th. And then what Twitter Counter actually does is it predicts for the next day how many followers you're going to have based on your statistical history. So the more you use this, the more data Twitter Counter can give you back. So now I'm going to go back to my own personal graph for just a second. Let me get rid of Cheryl and Natalie's graphs here. Okay. You can also go to your following graph, and this shows how many people you are following on Twitter over a period of time. And I tend to follow less people than follow me. Usually I will only follow 1 or 2 people every day because I get a lot of follows of people that I don't know, and I try to be more judicious about who I follow now that I have a larger following. Down here you'll see some rankings and some average statistics for your account. Actually it's saying I gain about 11 followers on average every day. On average I only add about 2 a day. This shows me how many tweets I've done over time, 14,000. It shows me how many I did yesterday and how many I do on average. Apparently I tweet an average of 50 times a day, which seems really high to me, but I'm not going to quibble with the data. It also shows your ranking within the Twitterverse. I'm 70,923. I don't know that means anything to me one way or the other, but it's a nice to have data point. Over here is kind of the prediction section where Twitter Counter, again, based on your historical data, will predict how many followers you will have within a certain time frame. So Here, Twitter Counter is saying I'll have almost 4,000 followers in the next 2 weeks. And to get to 8,000 followers, it predicts it's going to take me a little bit over a year, 380 days for me to do that. So kind of interesting to see how long it might take me to just about double my following from what I currently have right now. Those are some of the cool things you can do within the Twitter Counter screen. There are things that track your average daily tweets down here if you want to look at specific graphs, and if you want to look at that monthly instead of weekly, it will provide you that data too. You know, here for example on, looks like June 29th, for some reason I had just a boatload of tweets that day. I'm not sure what was going on. I would have to look back and see what my blog post was all about, or maybe it was related to going to Evo conference. But it's interesting to see those spikes and trends over time. So this is a great little tool for you to see how your Twitter following is growing, if it's growing consistently higher, if you're having lapses due to the fact that you're not on Twitter during a certain period of time. I'm going to be on vacation in a couple of weeks, and I expect these numbers to plummet pretty significantly along with my Clout score while I'm gone, because I won't have access to Wi-Fi, so I won't be online. So if you're not currently looking at stuff like this right now within your Twitter account, I highly recommend Twitter Counter. You can sign up for a daily email, I'm sorry, not a daily email, a weekly email that comes out from Twitter Counter that will send you a graph and tell you how your account has grown over the past week and what your prediction is for your total number of followers for the next week. I don't do anything specifically with this data, but it's kind of a nice thing to have for me to just make sure I'm still having people interested in me and wanting to follow my account. So I hope you find this helpful, and if you have any questions, leave a comment or email me and I would be happy to answer. Thanks.